Dear students, good morning once again. We are meeting after some kind of gap between the last video class I have done, and now is the time, for another one. Okay, today we are going to discuss a small topic which is in your syllabus, won't take much time. That is called anecdotes. 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 Now, what is an anecdote? In very simple terms, an anecdote is a small incident, or is a happening, or is a memorable incident which at that time may have looked as negative, or maybe it might have put you under some strain or tension. But later on, it seems to be a comic or funny or humorous happening that must have come your way. It can be anything. For example, let me give one of my personal example that is always convenient to give because rather than other people's things. When I was I was selected for master degree admission in my university. It was in Kurukshetra and I was in Delhi. So I stayed in a mess as I didn't get hostel during my graduation. So when I had to go for admission, I was selected, and then I went to inquire about the fees. Initially, when we went for an interview, the office people told us that the admission fees will be just about 1100 or so. Of course, it may seem to be very funny that 1100, how come it's such a minor amount? But those days in 1994, 93, 94, it was a good amount. Then when I went back for final admission and went to the counter for depositing my fees, they told me that it will be 1500 something, slightly more than 1500. Now I was at a problem because as I was staying in a mess, father used to send money monthly, but always we used to be broke, as you can many of you who were staying in hostels for a long time can understand. So I was quite tense. So they have given 3 days for taking admission. So I went to something came to my mind. I went to the head of the department. It was also a new department. One professor from English was the head of the department. I went to him. I waited for him to arrive for almost 1 hour. Those days classes were not being held because of vacation, so they used to also came not on the actual times. Okay. So after waiting for the teacher, I met him. I humbly told him that, sir, this is the problem. If I can go to Delhi, I can bring around 400 rupees, and I'll be able to give the full amount. Then I don't know why, he felt. He told me that don't worry, I cannot extend the date. You'll have to come take admission today and within the next 2 days. But you do one thing. He told me that I will give you 500 rupees if that will help you, and later on you can give me, or even if you don't give me, I won't mind. He said in a very comic manner, right? And he was true to his words. He told me that at 12 o'clock you meet me outside the same time, which is just nearby. I went there, and he was there, and he took out some money and gave me 500. I took admission, went back to Delhi, and when I returned, I gave it back to him. Okay. I have been thinking of writing about this incident because he was a total stranger to me, and even if I would have not taken admission and got the 500 rupees from him and just fled off, he would not have, there was no way of catching me. Okay. But it was such a nice gesture that I still remember very vividly about it. And another few small things which I encountered. Whenever I used to go for tickets, as you know, I was studying in Delhi for my graduation and for PG in Kurukshetra University. So we had to go for booking tickets around 15-20 days earlier before the exams finish. And on several occasions, because I have a slightly dark complexion, then I had a habit of keeping my hairs close cropped, like the people say that, like the cops or the armed forces personnel. On several occasions, when I was booking tickets, and if I run sort of 1 rupee, 5 rupee, mind it, 5 rupees was also quite important. I mean, quite had quite a value those days. I used to find that some armed forces personnel who would be also on the line, they would readily offer me the amount, and when I can say to see I don't have change, I'll have to bring it from a distance. They would say, "Arey, don't worry, you are also a soldier, we are also a soldier. This is the kind of fraternity we have to keep." Fine. So when I look back, these things seem to be nice anecdotes which we can write about. Now, we'll come to it again later on. Now, the question is, why would somebody care for it? People will care for it because most of the people have a habit of reading some light text whenever they are reading a formal newspaper or a magazine or a journal. Okay, that is why this kind of incidents do have a ready market. If not a ready market, but at least they do have a market. Okay. I'd like to tell you about Assam Tribune. Assam Tribune on Sunday editions, just below the editorial column. I mean, editorial article column. Now it is since about a few months or so, they have started this column, anecdotes. You have to write it within 300 words, and on any interesting thing which may have a moral or may not have a moral, but which throws a light on something, some unusual kind of happening or behavior within us, which may be positive most of the times, or maybe slightly have a negative tone also, but good to read it. So this is one column, and on Sunday, I think it is on the Sunday supplement or on Horizon, they have a column on third page that is called MySpace. MySpace is also something like that. It's a sort of anecdote or your personal feelings. So you can take it as an anecdote also and try to write something about it. And in Hindu, I might have told you earlier also, there's a page called Open Page. Now they give it on Mondays. Open Page is also a kind of anecdote, but it is more not exactly an anecdote, but a feeling of a person, anyone, any reader or anybody else, not necessarily a journalist or an established person, anybody for that matter, a feeling of theirs on a particular aspect or issue of life, which may have a moral or may not have a moral. I mean, okay, not necessarily that it should have a moral, but it can also have a tune like an anecdote. Okay, that is why now onwards, look at any such development, anything at all. Maybe you were going for admission test, you made a blunder, or maybe you were going for the examination, you made a mistake, and say some funny things have happened, etc. Anything of this kind of thing. Okay, now what do you have to do is try to read all the, not if not all, at least 5 or 6 of these examples, even including Sunday, Hindu Open Page on Mondays. Then you will be able to appreciate what I am telling here and how this kind of writings also do have a market. It may be a personal incident, no, but they do have they do have definitely a market or space for people, and you will also be able to. Whenever you will start writing about it, you will also be able to express yourself more clearly in what we call it as which we call as a narrative writing. Okay. Uh, Expanding the discussions about writing of anecdotes, let me also tell you that there is a magazine called Reader's Digest, and most of you must have heard about it. When I was in graduation, I used to read it regularly. Not all the articles, of course, but they had very good columns like humor in uniform, life is like that, then laughter the best medicine, etc. Okay, these were basically jokes, and they came. I mean, they were basically anecdotes which also had a funny and comic side to it. Fine, some faux pas or some mismatch or some say misunderstanding among colleagues or here and there, etc., etc. And life is like that was not exactly funny, but it had a funny, I mean, comic tune as well as it had some morals in it. Okay, so if possible, it won't be possible sometimes, but if possible, try to go and read at least few episodes of few issues of Reader's Digest. If possible, if you can get it on online, that is good enough. And then read all these columns. And even otherwise, in addition to this, they give small such items here and there within the magazine. They're also good enough. And then you will have a good idea, and you will also come to know about the ways of expressing yourself. Okay, about such incidents. Now in Prantik, this is an Assamese magazine, as most of you now must have come to know, even those of you who are not from Assam or Northeast or even from outside, you must have come to know. Prantik is an Assamese, a very prestigious fortnightly magazine, general magazine, which is quite reputed here. Here, there is a column on science, latest developments in science, as well as description about various issues of science. There, the person who writes that column, he also gives one or two nuggets of information about interesting and small but interesting happenings of scientists. As you know, many scientists or many scholars make mismatches, or they are not very. Many times they are not. They are found to be not very good in material things. So many times they create a faux pas or create some mismatches. So in this column, the column writer usually gives one or two, three incidents about such issues which make us laugh at, and which have contents which make a comical aspect out of their activities. That is important. Okay. Now, as nowadays we are running through a very difficult times, but at the same time, one good thing is that among many other good things, you must have noticed quite a few jokes as well as some funny and comic references about this epidemic or pandemic, whatever it is going on, is being circulated. Okay, so you must appreciate the fact or the habit that even amidst such tense situation, people are being able to enjoy themselves and think of such comic relief things, comic relief contents which are making us laugh, even despite such a tense situation that through which we are going through now. Okay, so now onwards, I know you must be busy with your lectures from other teachers also, plus keeping in touch with various developments about the virus as well about the situation. But even then, sit for some time quietly, or maybe not quietly also, and think of some such incidents or aspects which can be fitted well into an anecdote, or you can write it to be sent to a magazine or newspaper, whichever is convenient. Okay. or you can simply write it and send it amongst your classmates through WhatsApp, so that at least some amount of ideas you can develop and generate, and which can be later on developed into full article, full write-ups, which you can send to Assam Tribune or even Assam Tribune Horizon, as well as Assam Tribune main page, whenever you have some time and you can refine your write-up. Okay, so thing is that if you want, or if you are interested, the sky is the limit. There is a market even for your personal, such personal happenings, which might have happened long time back when you were a kid, when you were in the university or anywhere. Okay, so don't hesitate. I have told you earlier also, maybe even at the beginning of your semester when I first met you, that nowadays there are so many avenues, so many media for expressing yourself. In our days, we hardly had the print newspapers. At the most, TV was coming up, but these websites, portals, they were not there. And even newspapers were very limited. In Assam Tribune, Sentinel, except Assam Tribune and Sentinel, hardly anyone was there. One or two English dailies were there, but they were not of the proper standard. In Assamese also, of course, when we passed out, very few, Doinik Janambhumi, Doinik Asom, Amar Asom has just started, Protidin were there, but not like today's status. Okay, so you have a lot of avenues to test yourself, test your writing skills. Okay, and you must not hesitate. If you hesitate, you will perish. You will get frustrated, and you will lose opportunities. You have to think of it, and you have to write, and you have to rewrite. You have to revise twice or thrice as far as possible, and then send it to media, newspapers. And one good thing is that now you can send by mail. You don't have to print. You don't have to go to the typist and print then the thing which happened during our times. We had to type. Otherwise, if my handwriting was bad, as you know, if I write it if I send it through my handwriting, I won't expect that any newspaper would have published it. Fine. So I had to get it typed. Initial times I had to get it typed when I was not working, then send it to the papers or magazines. Of course, when I got through Assam Tribune and Sentinel, then the typewriter and computer was at my disposal. Of course, it was an office typewriter or computer, but at least I could use it. Okay, so that way I learned typing and did the things myself. Now, and that another advantage is that if you feel a bit hesitant to go and meet the editor and give your copy, it is also a kind of, I feel a bit hesitant even now. So that's the advantage of technology nowadays is that it's anonymous, and you just send it through mail or through WhatsApp, and you don't have to face the person personally. Okay, so I understand you must be busy going through your reading materials, but this is also equally important. At the end of the 2 years of your program, in addition to your mark, all of you will be getting almost equal, percentage of marks, no doubt. All of you will be getting 75-80% of marks. But these things, if you can get something published, you can get something broadcast, those things will make the most important tilt towards your side amongst you, even if you're classmates. Okay, so this is the time to do it. Sit, cool down, and sit for some time. Think of it. Write, rewrite, construct, deconstruct, or whatever you say. Okay, but finally, and make sure that you send it to a newspaper or magazine or a portal, journal, whatever it is. Okay, so that you can at least get some response, and I'm sure you will be successful after some point of time. Thank you very much, and best of luck.